Okay, so in this video we're going to get into the topic of infinite series, which is a little bit different than that of an infinite sequence. So what you're seeing here is a description of an infinite series, and so when we say infinite series, we are referring to we've got some sequence, but we're starting to sum the terms of the sequence. And so the different sums are what make up the infinite series. And so what makes an infinite series is putting this summation on the infinite sequence. So it's going to look like this. You have a sequence of sums, right? The first term, the sum of the first two terms, that's a sum of the first three terms, so on and so forth. So these guys are what are making up the infinite series, the sums. And so we can start to talk about, based on the infinite series, based on the sums, do we get convergence or divergence? And you see that kind of explained here. So if our sum goes towards some number, right, then that series converges, and we've found the limit, whatever number that series converges to. And if it does not converge to a number, then we say the series diverges. And so there's different ways we can think about this. So in this example, what's happening is we are just taking the partial sums. Okay, so here we've got the first term, we've got the sum of the first two terms, and we see that adds to 3/4. We've got the sum of the first three terms, that adds to 7/8. Okay, so on and so forth, and we can find a pattern in those partial sums, right? So I'm looking at the 1/2, the 3/4, and the 7/8, and so we can see that if we look at these nth terms, right? So first term, second term, third term, nth term. The nth term is 1/2 to the n, and we might have to think about this a little bit, but the pattern in the partial sums can be expressed as 2 to the n minus 1/2 to the n. This might take a little bit of thought, but for example, if n is 3, right, this would be 2 to the third minus 1, which gives us the 7/2 to the n. And that's going to work out for each of the partial sums. Okay, so we can find the limit of this expression, and that is 1, and that turns out to be the sum of the series, right? It converges to this number. That's what the sum is actually equivalent to. So here's another example where we do the same type of thing, and we look at the partial sums, and we see that this expression in terms of n gives us the value of each partial sum. And if we take the limit of this as n goes to infinity, we can see that this guy is going to converge also to 1. This term is going to go to 0 as n goes to infinity. So the sum of this series is 1. Here's an example. This is a simple one where we're just summing 1 a bunch of times. And so the nth partial sum would just be n, right? So for example, if you take 1 2 times, you would get 2. If you take 1 3 times, you would get 3. And if we take the limit of n as n goes to infinity, that diverges. And so I think it makes sense that this series would diverge. You just keep adding 1 over and over and over again, the number is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, and that second example that I just did was an example of a telescoping series. And what happens in a telescoping series is you'll notice a lot of these terms cancel out. If you start writing out the terms here, -1/2, 1/2, -1/3, 1/3, a lot of these are going to cancel out. Oh, and so it turns out that if this series converges, you can find the sum by taking, it's going to be the first term minus the limit as n goes to infinity of the nth term, and that was what we saw in this example right here. We took the limit here as n goes to infinity, and you end up with this going to 0, and you get just this guy as the limit. Okay, another common type of series is called a geometric series. In a geometric series, you've got a common ratio, right? So you've got a value a, and in each term here, we're going to see that we start to multiply by the ratio to the first power, ratio to the second power, so on and so forth. And so what happens in a geometric series is that if this ratio, if the absolute value of the ratio is greater than or equal to 1, series is going to diverge. If the absolute value is less than 1, then it's going to converge, and you can compute the sum this way, a over 1 minus r. So for example, here's a geometric series, right? You start with 3, then you start to multiply by powers of 1/2. So r is 1/2. The starting value a is 3, and so you can compute the sum with a over 1 minus r. And if you do that arithmetic, you get 6. Another example of a geometric series, in this case, you start with 1 and you start multiplying by powers of 3/2. Right? So here our ratio is 3/2, which is greater than 1. And so that means that the series diverges. Okay, and we've got some basic properties of infinite series. This is working with summations. These are pretty basic, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. And then finally, we have what's called the nth term test. So this, we do have to be a little bit careful with this. So for a convergent series, we have this theorem. It says if the series converges, then the limit of the nth term must be 0. And if we take the contrapositive of that, meaning if we rearrange logically, there's an equivalent way to state this theorem, which says that if our nth term does not go to 0, right, the nth term does not go to 0, then we can conclude that the series diverges. And so that could be a useful test. So for example, here's a series. We're just going to take the nth term, which is 2 to the n. Okay, and the limit of 2 to the n is infinity. So since this does not go to 0, we can conclude this series must diverge based on this theorem 9.9 right here. Okay, another example. Here's a series, and if we look at just the nth term, this limit as n goes to infinity is 1/2. And again, so the nth term does not go to 0. That means this series must diverge. And we do have to be careful because just because the nth term does go to 0, that doesn't guarantee that the series does converge. Now it may or may not. We'd have to do another test. But the theorem that we had, right, the theorem says if the series converges, then we know that the nth term must go to 0, right? We can't necessarily reverse that and say, well, just because the nth term goes to 0, then the series converges. That may or may not be true, right? So we have to be a little bit careful with that, and there will be other tests that will tell us whether or not a series would converge, whether its nth term, even if its nth term does go to 0. And so anyway, that's an introduction to infinite series.